Greetings and welcome back to my channel, everybody. We have dropped into Yucca Valley. We are headed towards Joshua Tree, and it's windy. The last time we were out here, we had good weather. 2 times ago, check this out. Sorry, I look keep warm. All right, that's right. It wasn't that good of weather. It's actually feeling the same way right now. But we're gonna go shoot stars, and it's with a little bit of a twist. I'm actually shooting stars with Wes. Wes, you over there, buddy? You wanna just right there? That's Wes's hands. Yep, that's him. Anyways, we're gonna shoot stars, and there's a little bit of a twist that I'm gonna shoot the Milky Way with tonight. So tonight I'm gonna shoot on 3 different kit lenses, 3 different cameras. The Canon EOS R's RF L series 24-105 kit lens. I'm gonna shoot on the Canon M50's 15-45 EFM mount lens, and the final kit lens I'm going to shoot on is the Canon 70D 18-135. The Canon M50 lens and the 70D are both at an aperture of 3.5, and the RF kit lens is at an aperture of 4. All right, it's cold out here. Hopefully it's not as miserable as last time. We're gonna go get it done. Let's go shoot. Let's do it. By the way, the drive down here was easy peasy because the roads were pretty much empty here in Southern California because it's Sunday night and it's almost 11 o'clock at night and we're gonna be shooting all night. But the ride here was spectacular. All right, let's get going. Hey, before we get on that road though, gotta get a little bit of coffee. Woohoo! This is good and it's cold out here. All right, I'm gonna jump in the car. We're gonna get going now. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get, whoa, it's dark. All right, see you over there. No, you really can't tell, but we're parked and we're about ready to head out to the Wonderland Wash, and we're gonna go find a place called, I think it's called Olson's Home. It goes by a variety of different names. I'll post them right here. Anyways, it's about I think it's like a 0.75 mile hike. In the complete darkness. As you can see, I'll disappear into the darkness, and now I'm coming back. Anyways, we're gonna get going here. We're just making sure we have everything we need, and we'll get on a mosey and shoot some stars. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, we are not going home here, but we did have to pack up our gear and put it back in the car because we were in the wrong location. So we were just about a quarter mile away from the actual spot, the Wonderland Wash. We proceeded to quickly get our gear out of the car, and it's actually only a 200-yard walk from the parking lot. So yeah, it's pretty close, pretty simple, pretty easy. Let's get back to it. All right, gang, we finally made it out to the Wonderland Ranch, and as you can see, I've got all 3 cameras set up here. And so this is the Canon EOS R with the 24-105 on it. I'm going to keep the shutter open for approximately 21 seconds, and I have lined up in front of me a Joshua Tree with the Milky Way right behind it. Up next is the Canon 70D. It has an 18-135 on it. I'm going to keep the shutter open for approximately 17 seconds. And last but not least, this is the Canon M50. And this one I'm going to keep the shutter open for about 24 seconds. I'm shooting at 15 millimeters on a crop sensor, so that's 1.6 times crop factor. This one is very similar, shooting at 18 millimeters, but also shooting at a 1.6 times crop factor. And this is a full frame camera on the EOS R, shooting at 24 millimeters. So we are shooting again for 21 seconds. So the stars are out and about. I know you can't see that. There's the North Star right up there, but see what we can get.
Okay, it's super cold out here and windy, and I've moved on to a new composition. I have this, I think this is the Olsen home that I talked about. It goes by a variety of different names, but these are the remains or the ruins left of this facility. It kind of curves around and goes around the corner here. I use this building as the focus of my second composition, so I had all three kit lenses focused on the same building, and I got mixed results. Let's get back to the studio and finish this guy off. I think I just want to pack it up now because it's just a little too windy and I'm getting a lot of camera shake, but nonetheless, it's been fun. And yeah, let's get back into the studio and check out the shots.
Hey y'all, thanks for hanging with me out at Joshua Tree. We are now back safe and sound in the confines of a nice, warm and toasty studio here at home. And before I continue, I want to send out my support and prayers to all the firefighters and families that are dealing with brush fires in Southern California. I hope things definitely get better real soon. We actually had some brush fires spark up by arson here locally in my neighborhood in Fullerton, but I certainly empathize with all the families that are going through these brush fires here in Southern California. Okay, let's go ahead and get right into the last three images that I shot out at Joshua Tree. Again, like I said, it was super windy. That's definitely going to affect some of the images, or all of the images for that matter, because shake is a real thing. One way you can deal with some of the shake is to bump up shutter speed, but since we are doing long exposure, that really isn't an option here. Since we were doing 20-second, 17-second long exposures, that's out the window. So some of the other things you can do is keep the camera on a tripod, use a shutter release cable or a timer, and then finally also weigh down the bag. The problem was that I had 3 different cameras going and maybe just too many setups to be super successful in this, but I'm just gonna say it straight up, the final 3 images that I shot out at Joshua Tree didn't come out too shabby for these kit lenses. Again, these are the 3 lenses that came with the cameras that I purchased over the last couple of years. The cameras were the Canon M50, the Canon 70D, and the Canon EOS R. So let's get into the images. The first image that we're looking at here is the Canon M50 EFM mount lens, 15-45. I shot it at 16 millimeters. Not sure how I got to 16 millimeters, but that's the record of the data. I shot it at ISO 800, f3.5, and I shot it over 22 seconds. There's obviously going to be more in the frame on this than any of the other images. I had each camera side by side in this. So shooting this wide at 16 millimeters, I opened up the aperture as much as possible, obviously on this, 3.5. And that's as far as we could go on that. So we do have some blur in the front of the image or the foreground because 1, it was very windy, and 2, because our depth of field is not going to be that great shooting at 3.5. Now, if we were solely shooting stars, that would have been a different story. However, 3.5 on a kit lens, or whatever the most wide open aperture that you can set it at, that's what you're going to want to go with. But setting your camera at the fastest aperture is typically what you want to do when you're trying to shoot the Milky Way and or shooting stars. I also want to say on this evening that the galactic center was not evident. It was not going to be in frame. It wasn't possible at the time we were shooting at. This was shot about probably 2 o'clock in the morning, and the galactic center was below us and wasn't going to come into frame till about 7 a.m. And by that time the sun was rising and we had way too much light. And this image isn't too bad. It's fairly sharp on the building. The stars aren't too bad. And the brush in front, yeah, it's not the best composition, but you know what? The EFM M50 did a decent job for taking it out and shooting stars. The light painting that I did was pretty bad. I left a lot of things very spotty, and it was spotty work. I did want to get some of the mid-ground into play, especially that building. And overall, the focus was to see which of these lenses did the best job in terms of sharpness and just overall quality, and I think the M50 did a pretty good job. All right, let's move on to the Canon 70D, which is an EFS lens, 18 to 135. I believe that this opened up at 3.5 with an ISO 800, shot at 18 millimeters, and shot for 17 seconds is a quality shot. Highlights are a little bit blown out in the front on the brick wall, but you can really see the brush is pretty much intact and fairly sharp. The wall looks great, especially the left side of the back wall. Again, my light painting stunk on this occasion, but the stars look great. The mountain in the background looks super cool in silhouette. I think with a little bit more work, and if I was just focusing on that one camera, that you know that you can go out and shoot stars on a kit lens with the Canon 70D or something very similar to that camera. Don't think that you have to go out and spend tons of money to be able to get a quality image. I just really think this proves that you don't have to go out and spend a grip of money to get some pretty decent quality shots of the stars and foreground composition. So that's the Canon 70D. I really like the way this came out. So kudos to the Canon 70D kit lens for doing a spectacular job. Now let's go to the EOS R kit lens, which is the 24 to 105, and it definitely did the best job. It has the best colors. The light painting, I guess, was more on point in this case, or I was able to not get so many hot spots here. But the stars are more brilliant in this shot, and the reality is this is a 2 to 3 to 4 times more expensive lens depending on which one we're comparing it to. So then the Canon EOS R's RF lens, it's pretty high quality, even shooting at an f-stop of 4. That's as wide open as I could get, and it is just a nice image. It's clean, out of the box. This lens with the camera is going to do a much better job than the other two cameras and their kit lenses, but nonetheless, if we talk about all three, this is definitely my favorite. But the Canon 70D's kit lens, I think, did a little bit better job than the M50's, but let's take into account that there was a lot of different variables in play here. The wind was howling, we were on a tripod, but we still had a lot of shake, and it was just super cold. And I did not use a shutter cable release in any of these cameras. So that being said, I think it was a good challenge between 3 different kit lenses. Overall, I think it was a successful night shooting stars and trying to get the Milky Way. There's a concentration of stars where the Milky Way is supposed to be, but the problem was that we didn't have that galactic center, and utilizing the kit lens and some of the shake that we were going to have out there, all variables combined, I could not tease out the Milky Way, and it wasn't evident to the naked eye as well. So you know, when you go out to Joshua Tree and you see in all its glory the Milky Way, you know you're going to have a good night to start with. But when you go out and you know that you see a concentration of stars, now don't get me wrong, the night was absolutely beautiful. The stars were out. It was just a good night to get out and do photography. The primo aspects of shooting Milky Way photography were not quite right on this evening. However, shooting astrophotography, it was gorgeous out, and I cannot complain. Hey y'all, I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for watching this video. It means a lot to me. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked any part of this video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Ring that bell and get notified for my next video that's coming up real soon. And also give me a comment down below. I'd love to chat with you. Thanks so much again for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace, everybody. All right, let's get into the last 3 images that I shot on this kit challenge. We're gonna be able to get through this video. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Shout out to Indie Mogul if you're watching.